What's going on, everyone? Olivia Reiner here for Packers News, joined by Jim Owczarski, and we are just a couple of days away from the 2019 NFL Draft. Now, Jim, as the Packers are getting set for the draft, why don't we have a little bit of fun, maybe play GM/scout a little bit and give some recommendations to the Packers as they head into the draft. Just some things for them to think about, things to consider. So, that being said, we'll kick it off. Let's talk about the first round. What should some of the goals be for the Packers to come out of the first round feeling like, hey, we really accomplished something we set out to do?
This is going to sound simple, but it often doesn't happen, and that's draft a starter, especially at number 12. Look, a lot of teams say best player available, and that's all well and good, but it's not very often that rookie comes in and plays right away. I'll just go back a year ago. Jair Alexander, 11 starts in his 13 games. You saw the impact he made. Now, before that, other first-round picks may have played 15, 16 games, but they worked in. They were part of rotations, or they had to develop into a role. Look, as Aaron Rodgers said last week, there is no grace period with this new coaching staff. Draft a guy who's going to be on your field, part of your 22 or 24 who play right away and can contribute right away. Quite honestly, Olivia, I don't really care what position that is. So best player available, sure, but make sure that guy is playing on day one.
All right, so what if that guy is a quarterback, though? What if that guy is Drew Lock? What if it is the quarterback? Are the Packers ready to look for their next starter to replace Aaron Rodgers? And my assertion would be that it's not yet time. It's a little too early for the Packers to be considering getting the future replacement for Aaron Rodgers. Right. If Drew Lock, if they sincerely believe that is the guy, then great, they should go ahead and get him. But that being said, if they're not sure, if there's any shadow of a doubt, they aren't under that much pressure to replace Aaron Rodgers right now. Given his health status, given his injury status, what he's accumulated, especially this past year, he's at a point where he's okay, but in a year from now, April of 2020, that situation may be very different.
No, you're right about that. Because that flies right in the face of that, right? A quarterback is not playing for the Green Bay Packers in 2019. Brian Gutekunst said on Monday, he's like, look, it's not just about 19 for them. It is about the Packers of the future. Well, maybe then you want to kick the can down the road, if you will. Look, he was very aggressive a year ago in adding the second first round pick, this year. So if moving the 30th pick, moving down from 12, gets them another first rounder in 2020, look, in 19, it's not the right time. In 20, it might be. Things can change that quickly. He's said as much. So, yeah, you're right, though, Olivia. I don't know if I would recommend saying draft that quarterback that early in 19. But 20, yeah, sure. If you can get that second first-round pick a year from now and add, a second, third rounder this year, sure, I would. Why not give yourself that option, I guess, going forward. Along those lines, though, I guess what I'm curious, Olivia, is would you recommend drafting over Equanimeous St. Brown, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, Jamon Moore, 3 receivers they picked just a year ago? What if there's some receivers available early this year or second, third round this year?
So the big question I have, are the Packers in need of more rookie receivers? I think the key word is rookie. Right. When Randall Cobb left, there was a lot of talk, okay, the Packers need to replace Randall Cobb. They need to replace his veteran presence. Maybe they do that in free agency because maybe there's that is where they can find that veteran slot receiver guy. That didn't happen. Okay, so now maybe Geronimo Allison, maybe Devontae Adams can at least address the slot receiver portion of that question. Okay, is there a real need to get another young receiver when you still have these guys like Jamon Moore, Equanimeous St. Brown, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, even Jake Kumerow as well, who Aaron Rodgers seems to like very much. So why add more to that mix when you're not necessarily looking for another rookie receiver per se? And perhaps free agency, if they were going to address their needs at the receiver position, that was when that needed to happen. So in my opinion, that ship has sailed. And perhaps I wouldn't say it should be a top priority. I wouldn't even say it's one of my recommendations to really be looking for a receiver in this year's draft.
That's fair.
So, but what about another position a lot of people have talked about and have mocked the Packers going pretty high after an offensive lineman? So is this a position that the Packers need to go out and spend top draft capital on?
Right, yeah. I have to, I guess follow my train of thought here. I don't think drafting, say, a tackle at number 12, it doesn't fit the mold of draft a starter, right? Because I don't believe that you would just put in a rookie tackle and cut, a Brian Bulaga in that instance. However, that's usually where you find those players. If you want the best corners, quarterbacks, tackles, you have to find them in the first round. But this team, has had a lot of success in rounds 3 through 5 with guards. Obviously, David Bakhtiari might be an outlier at this point and finding a franchise tackle at that point. I wouldn't recommend going early on that position, I guess. To me, Billy Turner, you're paying him, in my view, to a degree, to replace Brian Bulaga in a couple years if that's where they're going to go. I think you can find guards in the middle rounds. They've proven they can do that. And Cole Madison, he was going to be in the mix, right? Was he going to win a job last year? I don't know. Look, he missed a year. Plenty of players miss years due to injury, right? He was healthy. He just had to get himself right to play again. So I figure he's in the mix. Sure, I think you always need depth, but I wouldn't go early there. I think there are some other more pressing needs to get guys on the field in 2019.
All right, well, those are our 5 recommendations for the Packers heading into the NFL draft upcoming this Thursday. We're getting there. Do you guys agree with what we have to say? I'm sure there are plenty of you out there who have other opinions, so make sure you're tweeting us, you're Instagram DMing us, follow us on all of our social media channels, and share what you have to say. We love to hear it. Make sure you've checked out all of our draft previews as well over on PackersNews.com, and stay tuned in with us as we approach the draft. We'll have more news for you as we get closer and closer, and of course, draft night as well. We will have so much to say. We'll have a Facebook Live too, so make sure you're tuning into all of our social media. We'll post a little bit more about when that Facebook Live will be. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.